Hello, hello. And today we have got the lovely Ange with me, and we're going to be talking about all the bits and bobs that I've been doing for her. Hello, Ange.
Hello, Tracy. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining me today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do first, before we dive into anything else?
I am an accredited counsellor. I specialise in anxiety and anxiety disorders. I work predominantly with children and young people, although I work with adults as well. I deliver training around mental health, but particularly around school-based anxieties. I deliver training all across the world. So many hats. I'm a parent and carer coach as well. So I do lots of different things, but all mental health related.
Such amazing work that you do as well, especially as I've attended some of your masterclasses in the past, and firsthand I've experienced it with my daughter on how the value is that you provide for everyone. So I just want to say amazing work that you do.
Thank you.
So I've invited you on today just to have a little chat about what we've been working on together, and just to let everyone know what to expect if they were to come to me for something, anything design related, basically. So I guess the first thing I wanted to ask you is, why did you reach out to a designer instead of doing it all yourself?
Because I am absolutely terrible at design. I have a very strong sense of what I like and what I don't like, but I cannot translate that from my brain into any of the sort of design tools that are out there. And I find things like that really boring. So
Okay.
I wanted somebody that actually understood the kind of the mechanics and the science and the psychology around design. And I don't have any of that experience.
Yeah, I think it could be really hard, as you say, when you've got something in your head. Actually, trying to translate that is really difficult sometimes, because you don't always necessarily know what it is that you might want, but you know what you don't like. And sometimes until you
Exactly.
see it, you don't always know that, do you?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
And I can imagine you probably spent quite a lot of time doing that as well, didn't you? I would have thought so.
Because I'm a hyper independent person who thinks that I need to do absolutely everything myself, otherwise it won't be done properly. So it takes a lot to feel that sense of trust to kind of hand things over, especially with things related to my business. It's a massive deal to do that.
It is a massive deal because it's your baby, isn't it? You've kind of nurtured it and brought it up, and for somebody else to kind of step in, it can be really like nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So like, I'm very honoured that you've trusted me. So thank you for that. So I think over the time that we've been working together, I think it's maybe about 1.5, 2 years, something like that. And I know we were discussing just before we hopped on the call, like, wow, I actually didn't realise how much I've actually done for you over that time, haven't I? Should we have a little reminder of what it was that we did?
Let's have a little reminder, because I what I've realized, or what we were realizing as we were talking, is that you have designed, I would say, almost every element that's kind of front facing for my business. So I've written a list I'm going to read through. You've done things on my website. You actually did a really incredible layout for my website and formatting for the website. You created my PowerPoint slide templates, which are chef's kiss, amazing. You've created all of my social media templates, of which there are many and lots of different categories. You've done my social media banners. There's a manual that goes with one of my training courses, which is 74 pages. You did all the design for that. There's a 40-page workbook that goes with that course. You designed that. There's an incredible roller banner that I use when I'm going out and just talking about the services that I offer. I think that's it.
You've pretty much summarised it all. Oh, resource sheets. Did we mention those?
Oh gosh, yes. So I have an entire resource center, again, that's part of a training program, and there are hundreds of resources on there. And I think you did maybe 6, 8, 10 different templates for each kind of topic. So there's probably about 20 to 40 different templates that you created. Yeah, beautiful, incredible.
Thank you. When you say it all like that, I'm like, wow, we've done a lot.
Well, you've done a lot, and I've just gone, I really like that. Like you read my mind.
I think that's what a lot of people say, actually. I think because we have that connection, and some of the questions and stuff that I ask and everything, it really helps me to kind of translate. I think that's one of my superpowers, without sounding too big-headed, is that I can kind of translate what people kind of mean into something quite tangible that fits in with what they're looking for. And I think with your bits as well, because you've had such a lovely brand to begin with, it was really nice just to be able to pick that up and just put all the little pieces together to make something that is beautiful and obviously works for your clients. Because I think that's the main thing, isn't it? Like when you do all this, as much as it's lovely to have something that looks beautiful, it's got to be functional as well. Like you mentioned the workbooks and everything, they go with like some of your courses and
Yeah,
things. So
yeah.
we've got to kind of think about, are they going to be printed? Are they printing them at home, or do you want them done yourself? Or, how are they going to be using these? And I think that's quite important to think about when you're in the middle of all that design work as well, isn't it?
And I think that's I think some of the things people don't realize what happens to sort of the back end of design isn't just about things looking pretty at the end. It's about how are they going to be used? Are people going to be writing on these or filling them out online? Where are things positioned? What colors are going to make people feel a particular way? I think there's so many things that I hadn't even considered until I started working with you. And I think you're absolutely right. You have the superpower of being able to translate some of that stuff very, very quickly into something tangible that is sort of, well, certainly for me, exactly what I wanted.
Thank you. And I love working on it as well, because you see, like, what the process is that you'll hand me, like, bits that you might have done in Word or on Canva itself, and then I'll look at it and I'll kind of think, how can I make this really visual but also useful to somebody? Because we've introduced like some diagrams or just things that your clients, obviously, if they're filling out a particular exercise in a workbook or on the resource sheets, is just to say, how can we make it as easy to understand as possible as well? And I'm quite sad, I quite like doing things like that. So can I ask, like, we started working together, we've created all this stuff together for you, or your like stuff for your courses, your is it webinars as well, you use a lot of
Yeah.
things for as well? And how does it make you feel when you've got all of this stuff, all the collateral there together, that all kind of, I guess, we've worked on basically?
Do you know, it feels, it's lots of different things. It's like an outward showing, I guess, of what the business is, and what it stands for. um there's it kind of gives me more confidence in terms of just being able to present things. So there's an extra level of professionalism. I think with the work and the training and everything I do, people are coming in often very vulnerable or emotional states, and there's something about knowing that there are all of these different resources and guidance, and that everything is consistent throughout. I think also on some sort of unconscious level just helps people feel that sense of consistency in the work itself. So I think it communicates a really strong message. I think it's really easy to underestimate the impact of really good quality design and how that makes people feel.
I think you don't always notice design until it's rubbish, do you?
Absolutely.
Like if somebody came to you and you had some resource sheets and they were really hard to understand or to follow and to get the information from it that they needed, and as you say, they're quite already in a bit of a vulnerable state, perhaps, that can really affect their mood that day, couldn't it? That could be like, they're already feeling a little bit maybe upset, or they feel like they need some extra support, then they've come to somewhere where they think they're going to get it, and they end up even more frustrated.
And I think you've reminded me of how part of our process was looking at how do we make all the material accessible? How do we make sure that it is um, that's perhaps somebody who's colorblind, or somebody that's dyslexic, or somebody that's autistic or neurodivergent. Like we it was really important to me that the designs were accessible for people that took in information in different ways. And you went away and did a lot of research and work around that. And I remember you coming back to me with, this is what it might look like if somebody has this particular type of color blindness. And then we were thinking about, actually, well, okay, what's going to work? The layout of the slides was sort of deliberately designed to not be really text heavy, lots of really strong imagery work. And I think that's woven throughout all of your design as well. And I think, you know, it isn't necessarily something that I would talk to other people about, but I think it can be important for people, if they're booking you in, that actually you can do all of that stuff
Yeah,
as well. Like, that's part of your amazing service.
that's really, do you know what, you reminded me about that, because I'd actually forgotten about that too, but that was so
Yeah.
much fun for me, because I've not really done too much on that side of things before, and I found all these amazing resources and websites that can help you, like with your designs and everything, to see how accessible it is for other people. And that was a real eye-opener for me as well, because it made me think twice about some of the stuff that I create for you as well. So yeah, and if it helps other people, then that's just a win-win, really, isn't it? It's just really something to be considerate about in the future.
And
And I,
then that does take away that friction, like you were saying about, you know, if something feels illegible or inaccessible, then that adds to the frustration. But actually, if you're trying to create a streamlined process, then you're just taking some of that weight off.
yeah, 100%. And I think anything that I can do for my clients and for their clients to help keep everything as smooth and streamlined as possible, that's just, I love supporting other people and helping that. So yeah, it's a win for me in my book as well as everyone else. So what was something, you've touched a bit on the process that we've done. Um, what was something unexpected that you got from working with me? Was there anything like that you thought, oh, that's different? I didn't expect that.
I think I think that the thing I don't find this unexpected now. When we first started working together, was just how easily you understand what it is that I need. It's like, I might give you like some random statement, or I've got an idea of a random picture, and then you come back and it is almost exactly the thing that I want it to be.
Yeah.
So I think, to be able to work with somebody who just understands on a really fundamental level what their client is asking, I think that's the most unexpected thing for me. Everything else, you know, you're super fast in turning things around, you're really clear, you're really specific about things, which I absolutely like. I love that. It's really important to me, but that isn't unexpected, because I trust that in you. But yeah, your ability, your superpower, it just your ability to just get it straight away is amazing.
Oh, thank you. And I think it's really nice to hear that, because sometimes as a designer you can worry that, are you interpreting stuff wrong? Which is, again, I think that goes back to what you were saying about being super clear, because I think it's important to have that level of trust when, you know, a lot of people can fear like, oh, I'm going to get charged for changes, or what if it isn't what is like in my head. So if we set straight from the start, okay, this is how I'm imagining it. Maybe I might chuck to something together a bit rough and ready, but how does it look from you? Then I can refine it from there. But I think because we've been working together a while now, obviously, I kind of pretty much get it quite quickly. But I always want to like be upfront with people to begin with,
Mm,
because there's nothing worse than kind of getting hit with something that you're not expecting.
yeah, I've never had that with you.
Oh, good. Well, I hope so. So what do you think? Like, I'm just having a little look at my list here, because I've got terrible memory at the moment. Um, you've mentioned before, obviously, how you feel when you're using the stuff, the material, you're feeling more confident and more professional. How do you think it has impacted your business?
Well, I think, you know, from a client perspective, particularly with the training courses that I run, I love a tangible thing. If I'm going on a training course, I think people invest a lot of time and a lot of money in training, and they want good quality resources to be able to take away with them. And yeah, so things like the manuals and the workbooks, really do that.
Yeah, I think what you said there has struck a chord, because if you are investing that money, not only are you expecting, like, obviously the things that you learn, but to have something there that you can actually take home, look at your leisure, kind of go back over any notes or anything. That can be really, like, helpful, as opposed to kind of doing it digital. It doesn't have the same impact sometimes, does it? Like, digital's amazing for some things, but when you've got something there that you can scribble on and you've got all your thoughts in your head and you can refer back to it, that's really helpful, I think.
I think, yeah, I think it's just thinking about that service from beginning to
Yeah,
end. Like when I think about my client's journey from when they get in contact with me to maybe booking onto a longer training course, that all of those resources and materials just help, just support their learning and their experience and their processing, and they have something tangible at the end that they can take away and use, and then that in turn then helps other people, you know, that helps other children and young people in their care. Like that's the ripple effect of that. You know, it starts off with a resource sheet, but that's used in a one-to-one session or a counseling session, which then has the potential to have a positive impact on how that child thinks or feels or behaves about themselves or the world. And like it's easy to dismiss the importance of those things, but in that wider context, yeah,
that's
they're
actually given
incredibly
me,
important.
like, shivers as you've been
Oh,
saying that. Because it's just like, I'm just imagining a child somewhere that's just, from something that obviously we've created together, because it's obviously your brains and your heart in it, but I've brought it, into something that you've imagined. And then to go off and to help somebody, I think you can't even put a price on that sometimes, just to know that somebody out there somewhere is getting the support that they need because of something that we've done. I think
yeah.
that's, well, I say we, but obviously you're the one
Well,
that's
no, it
doing
is.
it yourself. But
It's absolutely a we. It's
yeah,
absolutely.
it's just, like, lovely to hear, and especially because I've got a daughter that suffers with anxiety and a few other bits like that. So I know from first-hand experience how impactful things like this can be in getting
Yeah,
the support when she's getting the support that she needs. Then it just makes everyone's, it's life changing.
yeah.
And that's amazing. So full credit to you as well. So I think if there's one thing left that I want to just ask you, and that is, what would you say to anyone that was on the fence about working with me? Have you got any words of advice or something that you'd like to tell them?
I honestly think it would be an absolutely like no-brainer that I recommend you to absolutely everybody that ever asks for a good designer. And actually my people have seen my slides or seen my training materials and then come to you because of the quality of them. So I think if somebody is sitting on the fence, I would say it's really scary to feel like you're going to relinquish control of something. And I promise you that you are in the safest possible hands with Tracy. And you're really gentle and you're really compassionate. And you're also very clear and specific and boundaried. So there are never any moments where you're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure if I can ask this, or I'm not sure if this is okay. Like how you communicate, the way that you communicate with your clients, the way you can have that back and forth conversation, it's a really simple, streamlined process from beginning to end. So please, anybody watching this, please, I sound like massive like sales pitch person, but honestly, I just wouldn't recommend anybody but you. I really wouldn't.
Oh, thank you so much. I think that's really nice to hear that, as well, how I can make other people feel safe, because
Mm.
I'd never want anyone to feel like they could never say anything. Like, I know, for instance, you've been quite apologetic when you've asked for something to be changed. And I'm like, it's fine, I've got really thick skin. I'm not going to take it personally. But yeah, I think people can sometimes feel that they're going to upset me or anything else. But no, it's completely open. It's a two-way, because I want to work with you to create something that you love at the end of the day. And I'm not going to be doing I mean, I can advise you on things to do and not to do, but I'm not going to be doing my job if I churn out something that you hate, because yeah, that I just couldn't do that. So I'd like to say a big thank you for your
Yeah.
time today. And yeah, no doubt we'll be working together soon.
Pretty sure we will be. Thank
Thank
you.
thank you, my love.